Hey y'all. There's no way this actually works, dude. Cool. Yo, what's up, everyone? Um, Welcome to this new not podcast because it's still casting blue, but like this kind of series within this podcast. I have been trying to get my buddy Malik on here, kind of ask him some questions, kind of get to know him a little bit better, and kind of obviously just milk him for content, right? But I think I'm gonna call this. Yeah, let's go with that. Welcome to Underrated Gems. Um, I'm gonna try and do this with with the show at least. Kind of dig up forgotten games. Obviously, I'm gonna start with games that I played that in my childhood that are kind of underrated, as the title suggests, and then just give them the love they deserve. But anyways, I'm your host, Blue, otherwise known as E-Man, Manny. I go by many different names, and we're gonna be jumping into an off-road beast, a gas guzzling, dirt slinging, full send Hummer. That's right. Um, I'm talking about Hummer Badlands for the PlayStation 2. I don't know if there's an Xbox version, but this is what I played it on. So the PS2. Cue the intro music. I don't know if I will have intro music, but cue it.
Championship. Select a location.
So this game barely got this game barely got any advertising. I think not advertising, but I feel like it didn't get any marketing. But then again, I was 5 when it came out, so that doesn't really help my case. But when I played it, dude, I fell in love with it. I don't remember exactly how we ended up with this game. I think my dad rented it from Blockbuster. For all the children out there that listen to me, that's a whole different can of worms I will open later on, maybe. Or maybe some other episode, I don't know. But I think we rented it from Blockbuster and kind of never gave it back, you know? I think we're the reason why they went out of business. It's one of those accidental forever rentals, right? Kind of a little bit of backstory. I was an only child, so a lot of gaming was solo. But this one, I either played it alone or with my dad. He wasn't the biggest gamer, but for some reason, I guess this one clicked. I think it's just the off-road racing, bro. Big trucks, you know? Either passing the controller back and forth or just going head-to-head, and obviously I ended up getting destroyed. That kind of memory sticks, you know? Even now, I still remember the music. It's just like that deep punk, heavy rock music, off-road. You know what I mean? And back then, dude, this was like Gran Turismo 7 for me. It was like graphics can't get better than this. Looking back, it's not even, you know, doesn't even compare to the Gran Turismo then, because that was kind of the benchmark for graphics, right? Or at least racing games. But you know, I really didn't care, dude, as a kid. The game was fun. I was just, you know, getting in the very blocky, pixely mud, and then just flooring it. There's this one jungle map that, while I was writing the script, I couldn't remember the name of it, but it's called Granny Track. Something like that with Granny. I can't remember anymore. But dude, it had this river cutting through it, and let me tell you, bro, that was my map. I know it was. So the way the game is kind of sorted out, it's got different sections, like different regions. There's, I think, Arizona, Peru, California, San Francisco, and Colorado. San Francisco is in California. What the flip? Yeah. It's probably not San Francisco, but I know for sure it's Arizona, Peru, Colorado, and California. And there's this other one. It's just not clicking with it. But dude, the Peru map was it for me, bro. Constant rain, the jungly, foresty area, surrounded by pyramids. That was my map. I'll say it again. You know, I love splashing through the water, dude, again and again, racing or not. It's the water didn't move because it was the PS2. Wasn't the best graphics, dude. But for me, that was amazing. I would spend hours just free roaming, even though the game technically didn't have that. But you know, I would set up a 3-lap race and just go reverse. You know, not reverse, but like I'd go the other way instead of following the actual trucks. Dude, looking back on the script, I forgot a lot of things I wrote. I wrote this a couple days ago, and I kind of just put it off to the side. But the kicker was, I didn't have a memory card. So every time I played it, bro, I would play it for hours. And then after hours of just playing, constant grinding, when I would turn it off, bro, it would all get white, you know? But at that point, back then, dude, I didn't care. My parents at the time didn't know that game the PS2 took a memory card. They had no clue what that was, bro. You know what I mean? But like I said, I didn't care that my memory kept getting wiped. I kept coming back to the game, bro. That there is dedication, passion, and love, man. So let's talk about the gameplay, how it felt, you know? Oh, lost my section. Oh no. So let's talk about the physics, gameplay. The physics were stiff, bro. As for the ones that are watching, I played a little bit, you know, through 2 sections, Arizona and Peru. But yeah, these things were stiff, bro. Those trucks felt heavy, as they should. Like these weren't featherweight arcade races, bro. Like, when you would turn, bro, you can feel that turn. If you didn't slow down in time, bro, you're sliding. You're sliding all over. Even if you had the off-road tires, you're gonna slide. Every crash, bro, it just felt like, oh, you know, it's like insert the thwomp sound from Mario. It felt like you're getting hit by a bus, by a train. But what really stood out to me were the maps, the design, the level design, ranging from the Hoover Dam, forests, deserts, construction zones, and it was just amazing, dude, the way it's designed. It's a very simple game, but it was fun. And the terrain mattered on where you drive. On where you driven, it would matter, you know? You couldn't just slam the gas and just pray to God that you could handle it. And the game just gave itself a sense of ruggedness. You know, it's just like, it felt nasty, bro. It felt heavy, bro. Other races didn't do that much, you know? I guess I'm saying, you know? It also had customization. It wasn't obviously as deep as a Need for Speed game or Midnight Club at the time, but it had something, you know. It's nothing crazy deep, but it mattered. It gave, you know, kind of personality to the truck we were driving at the time. It had customization from wheels, bumpers, lights, paint color, sorry. And it didn't affect like the way it drove or anything, but changed the way you felt driving it. Now my only I guess like nitpick about this is the selection of vehicles. Like I said, like in the title of the game, dude, it's Hummer Badlands, so it's like everything it's Hummer centered. You know, like General Motors, right? I feel like that's also like it's a double-edged sword. It was cool for what it was, but it's also like it's like it limited the game, you know. It was cool that it had Hummer branding, but you know, it was tanks, bro. Driving them felt like you Arnold, you going after the predator, you know. Yeah, but like I said, it limited the game. I kind of wish to, now looking back, because as a kid I didn't care, but like now looking back, I'm like, they could have thrown in Jeeps, Land Rovers, or I don't know, just some custom non-off-brand off-road beasts. I think the roster could have been very much expanded on. The gameplay could have, evolved. But like I said before, sticking with Hummers only kind of just boxed it into its own little, well, I guess, game in this case. Like I said, it's a double-edged sword. One thing I didn't know when I started kind of doing research into this game is, dude, the game came out in 2006. At this point, the PS3 was out. PS2 had a foot in the grave, bro. Racing games were everywhere, from Burnout, Need for Speed, Flat Out. How this one stood a chance, I have no clue. And like I said, as a kid, I obviously we watched a lot of TV, but I don't remember any commercials from this. I just kind of remember it just being there. Obviously, my dad, the PS2 was technically his. That kind of just, I took over, right? But looking back, kind of brought me and my dad closer together, right? Obviously, it wasn't just Hummer or Hummer Badlands that we played, but it was one of them. I still remember the sound of him just kind of laughing at me because I sucked at the game. that's the it's a relationship you have, but I love it, It's he didn't understand the combos or strategies or anything like that or stats. He just drove, and that was enough. I feel like games like that, dude, are kind of rare now. Except with maybe Mario Kart World, they kind of brought back just the standard racing kind of thing. You don't have to look into stats, but it's still there, Stop saying dude. It's annoying. But everything's competitive and online now. This was just simple, fun, and bonding. Sorry, I'm looking at the wavelengths here on Audacity, and I notice it's a little bit weird. I don't know if it's my laptop that's doing that, or the PC, or the mic, or whatever. I don't know. Anyways, so I did end up playing it for this specific episode of the podcast, and I also recorded gameplay for the ones watching. So this is going up as a video on YouTube, but it's still going to go under the Casted Blue name. So I did end up replaying it a little bit, and yeah, dude, the graphics obviously they aged like milk, but the vibe is still there. The chaos, the weight, the janky controls, it's still fun. I would definitely stream it if I had the following. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm trying. I'm trying. I'll say it now. I don't really talk in my videos. It's not that I don't want to. Kind of like, it's a little weird, bro. It's like, who the heck do I talk to if there's no one in the room? And I do the exact same things during my streams. I don't talk. It's not that I don't want to. It's just it's kind of very hard just to talk without a script, and then just pretending someone's there when there's not, That's what I'm saying. Once I get a bigger following, or at least like 2 or 3 people watching during the stream, bro, I wouldn't mind just playing through it. Just like actually not speed running it, but like full playthrough, just live. Would I want a reboot or a remake or a sequel? Hell yeah, why not? You know what I mean? Let's say I had the keys to make the reboot/remake. I think I would drop the Hummer Badlands. I don't know what I would name it, but I'd keep the Badlands and it just kind of stick a little bit to the original. But I would give it a full roster, give me Jeeps, dune buggies, Land Rovers, Ford Broncos, Dodge, even Toyota, bro. You know, just like fully just off-road vehicles.
You start on a wood suspension bridge.
Obviously,
in the midst of a
at this
waterfall
day and age, we would have to give it an online mode of
Then
some sorts.
swing round the Inca
But what
clearing,
I
getting
would
ready
give it,
to take
man,
some
which a lot of
big
games,
air.
well, I'm not gonna say a
It's
lot of
been
games
a
don't, but
rough ride around the
majority of
remains
games
of the
don't
ancient
nowadays.
cigarette on a tightly banked
The majority
left-hander
don't,
on
yeah.
shale.
The majority, I would give it something
And
the
it's down
majority of
through
the
the
racing games
rainforest,
don't have
through a dark
nowadays, or
foliage tunnel to the
it's
river
just multiplayer
crossing.
games in general, have is split screen. Obviously, the big ones like Mario Kart, Sonic Racing,
3,
and
2,
recently Gran Turismo
1,
7 have
go.
split screen. But I feel like that should be brought back. You know, yeah, I don't know. Dude. I grew up with that. I kind of just want it back. And dude, I would go with Frostbite developing it. You know, give me that destruction, bro. Give me the trees breaking, suspension, bro, being shattered. You know, that BeamNG type graphic or physics, but not really. Give it that arcade feel. And make it loud, bro. Give me that vroom vroom, that V8, bro. That rugged engine, you know. Let it roar. Embrace the chaos, you know. Hummer Badlands wasn't perfect. It wasn't polished, but I think it was fun. And sometimes I feel like fun beats polished. I'm tired of the quick sidetrack. The way I feel about modern day gaming is how do I put it? I'm tired of looking into reviews, bro. I gotta look at gameplay. When I do, I just turn down the volume. You know, it's like I'm tired of people just kind of influencing other people's opinions. If a game makes you laugh and it keeps you coming back and still pops into your head months later, that's a gem. No questions asked. It's like Skyrim, dude. My friend would tell me about Skyrim during high school, bro. It's like, or actually since middle school. He's like, dude, you gotta play this game. You know, this game's awesome, blah 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 blah. He's like, dude, you talk with knights, and at the time, dude, I thought fantasy was just not it, bro. It's like that's for nerds. I'm a big nerd nowadays, but I just thought it was like, dude, that's not my cup of tea. At that time, for me, at least in middle school, it was like all about FIFA, you know. At the time, it was FIFA 12, FIFA 12, FIFA 13. So that was my jam, and that was like, I would spend hours on that all day, bro. Non-stop. Tournaments, career mode, player careers, ultimate team. And then in 2023, I decided to head out to GameStop, and I didn't even buy a Skyrim copy for the PS4. No, dude, I went old school. I'm like, if I'm gonna play this, bro, I'm gonna play it the way my buddy played it, and I'm gonna get, you know, the PS3 version. I actually had bought Oblivion and Skyrim. I ended up playing through Oblivion first on the PS3, which, long story short, I don't know, one of the discs, I think it's either the Game of the Year edition or the standard one, but they have a bug where you become a vampire, and then if you want to be cured from that, you go to this lady, and it sets you on a side quest to make a cure. But it kind of soft locks because the NPC just ends up disappearing under the house, and there's no way to get to them. So I ended up going to buy the one or the other versions. I don't remember what it was, but it was either Game of the Year or not Game, the standard edition, vice versa. I just wanted to sneak by his first time there, but anyways, I ended up doing that, and I got cured of the vampirism, and I ended up just beating the game right. Ooh, young bro, that hurts. I ended up beating the game, and I loved it. And right away, bro, I beat it in like 2 weeks, bro. It wasn't that bad. It's actually not even that long, but once you're out in the real world, dude, and you have a job and all that, it's hard, all right? Especially when you have schooling at the same time. So I ended up beating it, and then just like right away, I moved on to Skyrim. And oh, dude, Skyrim just captured me, bro. I am still not addicted to it, but I keep coming back every now and then. I do just end up recording random parts of gameplay just for fun. It's not something I probably ever put out on the channel, just because it's like random points in time of the quest. I just like watching it for myself. You know, some things I just make for myself. But Skyrim just got me hooked, man. And when the remaster, Oblivion remaster came out, that was like the pearly gates opened up to me. But I feel like I've gone off topic for far too long. But you know, thanks for tuning in to the first episode of Underrated Gems. I'm E-Man, Manny, Blue, whatever you want to call him. And I'll be back next time with another game that people kind of hate it, but I feel it's a hidden gem, you know, a guilty pleasure. But until then, this is it. See ya.
Time trial. Select your Hummer.